Most brands, when it comes to gaming, they have three paths to follow. First is basically a compact size, NUC size or brick size gaming PC, but the performance is just too crappy. You have low frame rates and you get reasonable frame rates if you make the visuals to low settings. That means you don't have that juicy eye candiness. Now something better is gaming notebook. Now most gaming notebook can play simple games at its reasonable frame rates. Again, you're affecting visual qualities. If you want juicy eye candy visuals, you have to go with a built-in GTX 1070 or 1080 into the gaming notebook. But this will super inflate the price and is out of reach to many gamers out there who wants to start gaming. Now a best solution is this is the third last option, is to build your own powerhouse mini ITX system or ATX system that for the same price you can actually get better specs compared to a gaming notebook. So this is like a triangle right here. Meet the Asus GR8 2. This sits in the middle of the triangle here when it comes to portability and compactness. Finally, Asus got it right after 2 years compared to the first generation of the GR8 1. Now, in fact, if you look at the specs alone, it beats the entire entry-level and mid-tier gaming notebooks offered by companies outside, as it ports with desktop-class CPU and desktop-class GPU. In fact, if you go out and build a desktop PC with all the similar parts right there, you end up with a comparable results. In fact, why go build your own entire system and go through the hassles and paying all the service fee when you can actually buy it all in one, that it weighs 4 kilos and it has a volume of 4 liters, plus it has Aura RGB lighting. Oh yes. The Asus GR8 2 is brought to life using Intel Kaby Lake Core i7-7700 clocked at 3.6 GHz, backed with the 16 gigs DDR4 memory included, but you can have it support up to 32 gigs of RAM, dual channel up to DDR4 2400 MHz. The interesting bit about this system is sports a full-size desktop class Asus custom NVIDIA GTX 1060 with 3 gigs of GDDR5 made for VR games. So it's VR ready right out of the box. The GTX 1060 custom is clocked at 1544 MHz with a boost clock up to 1759 MHz. The memory is clocked at 2022 MHz. It has Intel Wi-Fi card with 2 transceiver and 2 receiver antenna, 1 slot for 2.5-inch SATA based SSD and another slot for M2 based SSD. Our model came with an Intel 535 240 gigs SSD. The SSD brand may vary between countries. Looking at I/O, on the front you have 2 USB 3.0 ports, one for charging, mic in and also headphones. On the back you have the hard drive LED indicator, line out, SPDIF optical out, LAN port, 2 USB 3.0, 1 USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type A and also a Type C, 19 volts DC in, 2 HDMI 2.0, 1 DisplayPort 1.4 with G-Sync support and also a Kensington lock. When I run IDA 64, the CPU stress test shows that the temperature hovers only at 50 degrees Celsius with no thermal throttling and the fan noise is loud. It's not a big issue for me since I use headphone most of the time. Graphic performance on this baby is amazing. The frame rate is well above 60 frames per second and you can actually max out the settings in most AAA titles and even simple games like MOBA and Overwatch. Performance is comparable with the desktop class builds right there. In fact, it beats all of those entry-level and mid-tier gaming notebooks offered by the market right now. With games that we tested AAA titles, Overwatch and MOBA, you definitely can go high visual settings or max visual settings and still get 60 frames and above. Now you can't get that easily on an entry-level or a mid-tier gaming notebook. You can by lowering down to mid or low presets, which is not visually pleasing and eye candy when you spend so much money and you don't get the juice that you want. Now in 2 situations where I find this small form factor fits best. First is LAN party. We already talked about the gaming notebook earlier, but you don't need to lug around big ATX system, and in fact you build a mini ITX system, it's still a big box to carry around. With the GR8 2, you can hold it with one hand. It's like holding a heavy child with one arm. Just make sure you have some muscles right there. Now the second situation fits me best actually as a photographer and a videographer who travels a lot away from home. And basically like Langkawi, Krabi and Bali, you want to edit like weddings, like same day slideshow, same day video, presentation, video, stuff like that. You need a desktop class to have zero thermal throttling, zero CPU throttling, full performance, no stuttering and all those lagginess happen if you face like on a gaming notebook and you edit. Small screen is not good. You can actually hook it up to a HDMI TV of the hotel. Big ass TV, edit on a big screen is much easier compared to a small screen, and you don't need to hunch to a small turtle and edit like that. This is the painful part, I have to say. If I have the necessary funds, I would definitely not build a second PC right now. I would definitely get a GR8 too. It's really good, and I'm building a second system right now. I feel like my money is not well spent properly. In fact, this small form factor performs better than my old PC right behind there, which I'm upgrading soon. Asus got it right. Thumbs up to them. But you know what you can thumbs up? Like this video, comment below what do you think about this system, if you have it or going to get it. Or maybe if you have first generation, what are the feedbacks you want to put below so Asus can watch it. What are systems I can compare with this system right there? Comment anything below. Remember to like and subscribe. Check out more of our content in this channel. See you guys in the next review video. Asus, if you're seeing this, why you come out this PC so late? I could have bought it earlier.